Welcome to Reality of the Rose with your host, Natalie Sprink.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 216 of Reality of the Rose. I'm your host, Natalie Sprink. Welcome to an emergency episode of Reality of the Rose. I felt that it was necessary to just interject a mini episode here about the recent headlines, controversy surrounding Taylor Frankie Paul and the Bachelorette and what's going to happen, what has happened. It's so much. And I have so many thoughts, and I want to get those thoughts out there. And it's way too much for a story. It's way too much for a TikTok. So I just decided to do an episode solely about what's going on with her. I have so many questions. There is so much to talk about. So let's just get into it. All right. So I'm gonna make a blanket statement by saying, I, I don't even know if I can make a blanket statement because I just have so many thoughts going through my head. But Taylor Frankie Paul, I feel like, was not in a position to be able to do the Bachelorette. And not only did I think she knew that, but I think friends, family, and I think even production of the Bachelorette probably knew this, but they did it anyway. And I think that is dangerous, and I think it is irresponsible because we are still talking about a human being. So let's back up a little bit to the end of this latest season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which I already talked about on this most latest episode. But let's reiterate the red flags as far as her going into the Bachelorette. We know that numerous times people, including her, questioned whether she should be doing the Bachelorette. When they talked about her doing the Bachelorette, they talked about it sort of in two perspectives. One, it would be a chance for her to get away from Dakota and kind of be like a rehab, so to speak. You know, just she said she's never been away from him for more than a couple days, and that maybe that would just help her get over him. But also they kept talking about like the opportunity she had, the opportunity the Bachelorette gave her. In fact, this morning she made an appearance, which I have thoughts about that, but I'll address that later. She made an appearance on Good Morning America, and they asked her about all this controversy that's going on with Dakota. And they asked her specifically why she decided to do the Bachelorette. And she mentioned that because other castmates of hers, and she specifically mentioned like Whitney and Jen, were able to do Dancing with the Stars and got that opportunity, that she kind of looked at it like that. Like that was something she could do, like as an opportunity or something to, fulfill any kind of, I don't know, dreams is the right word, but that she wanted to take advantage of an opportunity given to her like that. Okay, I think that Dancing with the Stars and Bachelorette are completely two different things. 1000% two different things. She would have been better off, way better off, going on Dancing with the Stars. All right, so if you're not aware, so let me fast forward. No, sorry. Again, forgive me for kind of jumping around here because I don't have this scripted or written down in notes. I'm just like going off my brain, which is probably dangerous because I'll be jumping all around. But okay, let me continue on all the things that happened. So then fast forward to Dakota sleeping with somebody when he was on a different reality TV show, and her finding out about it and getting so upset. Now, granted, this wasn't even a friend. This was no one she knew. It was just a person that was on this reality show. And when Jesse told her about it, she immediately called him and got so mad, so pissed off, irate. I don't want to say uncontrollable, but it definitely triggered her anger and her emotions and it was super heightened. I mean, she was cussing him out. She was super upset about it. She was crying about it. It was definitely, she is reactionary, and this definitely got a reaction. So then that sort of faded away. That storyline sort of faded away, and she seemed to come to accept that. Then we had the storyline of him pushing her buttons and dating or seeing this girl that Taylor was kind of friends with. We see that fight that they had. Oh, not to mention, they had a fight when they all went to see Dancing with the Stars. And again, she got so emotional. They were throwing accusations at each other. They were so mad at each other. And then that night they slept together. So then her mom finds out about that, got super pissed. She gets pissed at her mom. Fast forward to him having another relationship with a girl that's friends with her, and she was out of this world, so mad about it. She came back, apologized to the girls, but we can see, okay, right? Like, we can see the cycle. Then, the night before the Bachelorette, she sleeps with Dakota again. They have a fight. They sleep together again. She wakes up. She says she's sick. She doesn't get on the plane with her sister and her mom and her kids. Doesn't get on the plane to go to Los Angeles to start filming The Bachelorette. Does catch a later flight, but literally has slept with Dakota the night before she goes onto The Bachelorette. Right? This alone are like many, many red flags. As I said on the previous podcast, if I were the guy that she ended up with, I would kind of, at the very least, be going, yikes. Like, because unless she told him what was going to be going down on season 4, he didn't know that either. He's going to watch season 4 and go, holy shit, you know? I don't know the guys that went on her season, how much they exactly know about her. If they went back, did their research, watched all her seasons of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Like, obviously I have no idea, but it just seems like red flags. If it's not red flags to these men, I think that they're probably there for the wrong reasons anyway. But let's just give her grace and say, because I've said before, people are allowed to have relationships before they go on The Bachelorette. So even if she did sleep with him the night before she left, maybe it was one last hurrah. One last, I'm never going to sleep with you again because I may find my husband. All right, let's just say that's what it was and give her grace for that. Okay, she goes on the show. Then we have the current controversy. The current controversy is it came out, whether this timing was ironic or not, I don't know, but this news didn't come out until after this little Bachelorette Before the Rose show that they had after the Oscars, where we've all seen it on social media, at least if you follow it, where every single Bachelorette, except for one or two, was at the mansion waiting for her, and they spent like the whole show like giving her advice and talking about their experiences on the show. Okay. So that didn't air till after the Oscars. And Taylor was asked to walk the red carpet at the Oscars, which she did. And there's plenty of footage of that. This news was not released until after all those things happened. And the news is that about 3 weeks ago, there was an altercation with Taylor and Dakota where the police were called, and the police came. Sources are saying that Taylor convinced Dakota not to really say anything when the cops came and just say everything's fine. Because I don't know whether that happened, but they did that. Then the next night she went to his house again, and this time it got really bad. And there are allegations that she tried to choke Dakota with like a necklace that he had on, that she tried to choke him. He has alleged scratches all over his neck. They're saying she was throwing things around the house. She threw his phone up against the wall. Their child that they share was present, and that they were fighting in front of this child, and that even something like by accident I'm assuming, like, hit him in their altercation. The police were called again. There has been no arrests made, but there is an ongoing investigation. But there are um, domestic violence charges. No, they're not charges. What is the wording for this? Okay, so I'm just going to read you this little article. So production, and so this was another thing. This rumor came out first that that production on the set of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives had been paused, and it was because the other cast members were refusing to film anymore, and it was understood that it was because of some kind of altercation that Taylor and Dakota had, and that they were essentially saying, this is enough, this is too much, we're not going to film with this kind of toxic behavior and out of control behavior going on, so we're not filming. But let me just read this. Production on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has been put on ice after allegations of child and spousal abuse, and we've learned it's gotten so crazy Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota Mortensen have been ordered to get psych evaluations. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Dakota has called the Utah Division of Child and Family Services more than a few times, alleging Taylor has been physically abusive to their son Ever, who turns 2 this week. I don't know about that. I mean, how would I know? Our sources say Taylor denies allegation and Dakota has become frustrated that no action has been taken. Things came to a head late last month when Taylor and Dakota were driving in his car and got in a heated argument. We're told a drink was spilled on the seat and on Dakota, and he became enraged. Sources connected to Taylor say he got physical with her. We're told Dakota called the police and said Taylor was the one who got physical. Our Taylor sources say Dakota went MIA for nearly 3 weeks after the car incident, and that's why production stopped. He has an important part in the show, and producers wanted to wait until he resurfaced. Sources connected to the show tell us a different story. The cast members refused to continue filming, despite producers wanting to keep filming because of the child and spousal abuse allegations. Separate from the car incident, since DCFS had received numerous calls from Dakota alleging abuse, there's currently an open investigation, and we've learned both Taylor and Dakota were ordered by DCFS to undergo a psych evaluation. The psych evaluation has not been performed. Okay, so that's a TMZ article. This is an article that they posted then, I don't know, 12 hours later. In addition to everything I just read, they're saying that Dakota's people tell a wildly different story, and that this is other than that car incident. They say the car incident happened more than a year ago, and it was Taylor who attacked Dakota, and he's the one who called the cops. What they really say happened was around 3 weeks ago, Taylor choked Dakota and ripped his necklace off. They say the next day, Taylor scratched his neck and his friend called the cops on her. So basically, there's just all kinds of allegations. He's saying she has abused him and their son, and she is saying that he is abusive to her. I think we can all agree that this is just a very, very toxic, dysfunctional relationship, and they cannot get out of the cycle of each other. The things that I question is, if ABC, and I'll just say that Warner Brothers, whoever it is, Hulu and ABC are under the same umbrella, right? So Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and The Bachelorette are both under the same umbrella of Warner Brothers. So, which is why, it was so easy to get Taylor to be The Bachelorette because of Secret Lives being under the same umbrella. So one of the things is that I'm just going to say, I think that there is definitely a double standard with Taylor and even getting the lead of The Bachelorette, because a couple years ago, she actually was arrested for a domestic violence situation. And it was actually on the season. I believe it was season 2. And her and Dakota got into an altercation. The cops were called and she was arrested. So she has that. She's an arrest against her. If anyone watches the show, they can see her nature. We love her because she is so truthful and so honest and just puts it out there and is herself and isn't performative for the cameras. She's just who she is. But yet, maybe that doesn't make the best lead for a show like The Bachelorette, right? I mean, they've even yeah, there's been a few leads that have had children. She has multiple children by two dads, which again, that occurs in this world. It's no reason she can't be the Bachelorette. But I think that her major anger issues, the things that happened before the show, clearly she wasn't in the right place, because all of these things that happened, these now recent allegations, um, have all come out after, obviously it was after filming was finished. The thing is, if this would have been a man, if a man would have had these allegations against him as the lead, I believe that they would be handling this way different than they are with Taylor. I think because of her her status, her popularity, I think the Bachelorette had everything riding on the fact that she was going to save the franchise because of the viewership she was going to get. And just because of her name, people that are fans of Secret Lives are going to tune into The Bachelorette, all of those obvious things. And I think at all costs, they were going to have her be the lead, even if they saw that it wasn't healthy for her. And I think they put pressure on her to follow through with this. I think they knew that she had, I mean, how can you not know? It's made it on the seasons of Secret Lives. I think it is really unhealthy when you see an obvious, very consistent, toxic cycle that she experiences with Dakota happening, that it's super dangerous, and not dangerous in the aspect of literal dangers, but for her mental health to have her still be the lead. Um, Personally, I have never been spoiled for a season of Bachelor or Bachelorette. Um, but I think but I am. I'll just say, first of all, I am spoiled for this season. I don't know the intricate details, but I know how it ends. And the reason well, first of all, with listening to and watching all the social media I did last night about this whole thing, I couldn't help but hear it because there were several spoiler pages, and I was just curious about things that they had to say. I don't care really that it's spoiled, because to me, it's obvious that she is not with the person that she ends up with. I'm going to tell you what happens. So if you don't want to hear what happens, then skip forward about 5 minutes. Okay, starting now. But apparently, she does get engaged to a Doug something or another. And about a month after the engagement, they broke it off. And allegedly, it's because of Dakota. Now, I don't know if that means it's because of Dakota, because Doug got sick of her issues with Dakota, or being obsessed with Dakota, or whatever the case was, or if she literally like said, I'm going to break up with you because I'm still not over Dakota. Like, I don't know what the issue is there. Just today, she was seen with this guy, but like, there's sources that say, and people are speculating that they were seen together, but it was because it was for the purposes of the show. Like, they're going to film something together, or they're, meeting with people about the show and how to move forward with all of this. It doesn't seem like anyone thinks that they're actually together. Um, I wouldn't be. I think that if this guy is still with her and still willing to give her a chance, he's either the most understanding man in the history of the world and is absolutely head over heels in love with her, truly, and just wants to give her chance after chance, which I'm not sure how that's possible after only 8 weeks. Or he's a clout chaser and simply wants the clout by being seen with her. And I hope that people around her would identify that and save her from that. So that's that part. Won't talk about the spoilers anymore. Then I wonder about just the season. Some might say, hey, this is like going to just bring more people to watch because of all this controversy. I don't know. I think in other situations, that might be the case, but I think for like the Bachelorette and what it brings us, and the part where, okay, is Taylor, like those of us who know Taylor and have watched all 4 seasons of her show and follow her on social media, are we, at least this is me speaking, I wanted to watch and see whether she could break any cycles, whether we could see any differences in her, how she was going to be edited, which is kind of a different topic, and if she was going to be able to get beyond Dakota, find somebody else, truly fall in love, and like have a healthy relationship. I think that's what everyone who watches her show wanted for her and still wants for her. Um, However, I don't think that she was in the mindset or a place to do the show, period. And I wish that I know she's a grown woman. It also seems like she has it's understandable. Like, I have grace for her and I have sympathy for her, because I think that we find out on this season, she's never known her biological dad. The one time she met her bio dad at age 4, he didn't really seem like he wanted much to do with her. On this season, they meet a friend of his. It also comes out that her bio dad was physically abused her mom. So she has that going for her too. So she definitely has daddy issues to begin with. Um, I don't know if any of the Mormon culture, how any of that affected her in her younger life. She's been a part of very many scandals. She had the swinging scandal, then she had like her arrest from the domestic violence issue a couple years ago. If she wasn't going to save herself, I think that the show has a responsibility. This is on ABC. This isn't on Hulu. I cannot hold my thoughts here. I think it is irresponsible of ABC to put this show out. Yeah, I mean, first of all, to have her as a lead, there has been a lot of talk about whether they're going to pull the whole show. I don't think they're going to. It happens this Sunday. It premieres this Sunday night. I would be surprised if they actually pulled it, especially because like today they still had her doing press. She was on Good Morning America. She was on the Kelly and is it called the Kelly and Mark show now? They both addressed the issue with her, although they addressed it in a more thorough way on Good Morning America. And she definitely made a statement, but she was absolutely vague in her answer. We didn't really find anything out. I don't know that we thought we would. I think that she is, has, I'm sure, a crisis media team that is following her around and telling her what to say and what not to say. She is admitting and has said that this is a really, really heavy time. She said this morning it was even really difficult for her to get out of bed to come to the interviews that she was doing for today, but that she knew that she needed to, and it was her responsibility to the show. But she also wanted to try and celebrate the great time she had on this show. We saw a clip of her telling Jesse that apparently happens on night 1. They showed the clip on Good Morning America while they were interviewing her, where he asks how she wants to come out of this, and she says she wants to come out a better version of herself, and if she's lucky, with a husband. That made me sad, honestly, because it seems that she is not a better version of herself. If all this went down, she cannot resist Dakota. I think they're both to blame. I think she needs, I don't know if she goes to therapy. I think she's talked about going to therapy more. I don't know what else she needs. She needs more aggressive therapy. I'm not sure how to get out of this cycle with him, but he also very much knows how to push her buttons. I don't think it was an accident when he sleeps with someone that she knows. He does it over and over and over and over again. And every time she gets so pissed, and then he apologizes and they sleep together again. He does it to push her buttons. We see them talking the night before, the day, maybe it was the day they slept together, of him saying to her, like, oh no, sorry, this was the next day. This was in the car as she was about to get out of the car to be filmed for her first shots of The Bachelorette. Okay, so this is after they sleep together. She got on the plane, and he is like telling her, hey, if it doesn't work out on there, I'll be here for you. Just please tell me you're going to save me a rose. Just say it. Just please say that to me. Like, it's gross. Like, it's so manipulative. The way he sees how he can just, it's like she's putty in his hands. And unfortunately, it's like she is. She lets everything that he does get to her. And the thing is that it's gotten violent. Like, it's one thing if they can't resist each other just to be together, but when they're together, it's so toxic and it gets violent. They're throwing things, they're hurt, like literally physically. She's hurting him. I don't know if he's doing anything in reverse to her, but the kids are seeing this happen. None of this is healthy. None of it is good. And I don't even know why, after all this goes on, why the show even really allows her to go out and do press. I also heard today on a podcast that last night, so I'm coming to you I'm recording this on Wednesday, March 18th. That apparently last night there was supposed to be this dinner, and I believe it was in New York, and it was like a dinner for press, okay? But there was supposed to be 5 different ex-bachelorettes that were going to come to this dinner with Taylor, and they all backed out. Now, first thoughts are they backed out because of her, and that maybe they're angry at her for doing this and that type of thing. But it seems more the reason is because they're trying to make a stand against ABC. And I feel like that's probably more the reason than the other. Because I feel like other women would try and understand and see, like, the mental health issues that she's having and try to be sympathetic towards that, and more make a statement to ABC that, look, why are you doing to this to, why are you making her continue to do this press when she's literally just now, this is all coming out and it's all coming down super heavy on her in so many ways. And I believe I believe that's true, that they were more making a statement against ABC saying, we're not doing this. So therefore, Taylor isn't, like, we're basically standing up for Taylor. So that happened. There has been talk about, the guys' reactions to this. And they say that they're, really shocked, and some say they're disappointed. I would be curious, like, what they're disappointed about. Are they disappointed because the show may not air and they're mad at her for, like, taking it to this level and causing it? Are they disappointed in her just in general? Like, what exactly are they disappointed about? But they also said that she didn't show signs of this when she was on the show, that she just seemed like just a kind person, fun loving, loved her kids, like all of these great qualities, that's the person that showed up for them, I guess, until she gets pissed off and kicks people off. But I think it just ruins the show. And I don't know, I feel like there's going to be some people that are pissed that they're continuing to show the show and are not going to watch it. I think there's people like me that are, of course, going to watch it, but it's going to be a little anticlimactic knowing that it probably really doesn't go anywhere. So what are we really watching? It just means something different. We thought that she was going to be the savior of this franchise. I think we all did. That's what I thought. And I know that's what they thought. I just think this might be the last straw for Bachelor. They just don't have a great track record. They don't have a great track record with vetting people, it seems. It seems like every single season you have at least one, if not multiple contestants that have some kind of a shady, dark past that they don't catch until later, till the season's midway through or almost over. Um, Even with leads, I think like they fired Chris Harrison because of a racist reason, him being racist, but yet they're not going to do anything about Taylor Frankie Paul. It's just really hard for me to wrap my head around what they are thinking. And what is Taylor thinking going into this? Are the Bachelor people thinking, oh my God, we fucked up here. We fucked up bad. How are we going to fix this? Are they just going to fluff over it? Are they going to make any statements at all about anything? Are they going to do any after the show kind of footage that addresses all of this? Are they going to do like they have on some seasons and just brush it under the rug like it never happened? Do they care? Are they only after the money? Are they just like, well, it's additional publicity. We're going to still make her go to press when she can't even freaking get out of bed. She admitted it on Good Morning America. I mean, like, I'm picturing her saying, I don't want to do this. Please don't make me do this. And them saying, sorry, you have to. Who cares about your mental health? We're just going to keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. Can you imagine having to go through this? Can you imagine the amount of hate that she's getting right now? And then having to answer question after question after question about it. She's supposed to be on this journey of like, I use that word again, sorry. But this is supposed to be a fun, happy time for her. And it's not. Granted, it's all in the ball's in her court. And I know she had not the best upbringing, but at some point you're 30 years old, 31 years old, and you have to start taking responsibility for yourself and taking control of these anger issues you have and these very toxic cycles that you're in. And, another thing that I was really shocked, Cinnabon was a sponsor for the show for both Bachelorette and Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And they pulled out. They announced that yesterday, that Cinnabon pulled out, and they basically made a statement saying that that the recent happenings no longer align with their values as a company, so they're dropping out. I have it on very, very, very good authority that Oli Vitamins was going to be another sponsor and that they have pulled out. And it makes me curious how many sponsors have to pull out before they would actually just cancel the show. Not to mention that I don't know in what respect they have like sponsorships with each other, but like say there was a date on one of the one-on-one dates or any date where Cinnabon, like they went to a Cinnabon and they got cinnamon rolls, and that was the way it played out with the sponsorship. Well, if they pull out, they have to completely cut all that footage. They have to change whatever show that is in and completely change that. I mean, there seems like there is a lot of extra money, not to mention that they have to be hiring all these crisis managers to take care of all this stuff. I mean, it's just wild. This is so wild to me. And I just think it could have been avoided. And it just also makes me sad that because of this whole, like we saw the girls even saying on the season, like, why did you even say yes to this? You just wish there could have been someone at some point that would have just said, stop, we need to think about this. Is this really possible? And yeah, maybe she thought, I'm going to do this and I might find someone. If not, I'll go back to Dakota. But also, is that fair? I don't know. Is that fair to the show? And it's not a good look for her. It's not a good look for Secret Lives of Mormon Lives. It's not a good look for Bachelorette ABC. It's just really sad. And my heart breaks for her, but yet I'm mad at her. And I wonder how this is all going to fall out. I feel like she just needs to step away. I feel like she just needs to not be on TV anymore. I think this woman needs a lot of help, a lot of therapy. I think she needs a regular life. I think that there are just instances where it's too much for a person. And, every reality star will tell you that they all suffer their own amount of hate, but I think she has just gone through a lot. And that if you've actually watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, all the seasons. And I just think she shouldn't be on TV anymore. And I think there needs to be somebody in her life that tells her that she is a mom and she needs to just be a mom and be mom talk. Great. But like, I don't know. It just is getting too dark. This is just getting too dark. Let me see if there's anything else I want to address. Oh, I know another thing that came out. So Reality Steve has, and Reality Steve is very often right. If you don't know Reality Steve, he has developed himself as a very reliable source for spoilers in regards to reality television. Okay. And just over the years, he knows how to vet his sources that are coming to him with information. And I would say 90% of the time he is accurate. He always gives out spoilers about Bachelorette and things like that. So I'm just going to read this to you. This is a screenshot of Dakota's phone from this past January, sent to me by his roommate crew. This was a month after Bachelorette filming had completed, but shows Taylor crashing out one night and calling Dakota over 150 times in a span of 90 minutes. This is not healthy behavior. If you are interested in blah, 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 just know that this photo has been verified and shows even after she completed filming, Taylor unfortunately was still not over Dakota and seemingly will never be. I know a lot want the best for her, and you should, but behavior like this isn't showing any growth on her end. It's been a toxic relationship from them both, that seems never ending, no matter how much they both say they want to move on. And then he shows it. I mean, the screenshots of her calling him that many times. So like, this is a month after filming. Maybe this is what I don't know, guys. It just makes me really sad. It makes me sad for her. Mostly it makes me disappointed in her. It makes me, I don't know. I know a lot of people will say this just proves, it's all fake. It proves that they just want fame. It proves that, none of this is real. I'm not saying, like, I've had my share of criticisms about The Bachelorette and things that I think they should and could and need to do differently. Absolutely. Like, all you have to do is listen to one of my podcasts to realize that. But just what I'm saying is I think now they realize that they have to do something different, and they're trying, and it all fell to shit because they weren't careful in selecting this person. I also heard that was apparently from a pretty good source that they had renewed The Bachelor, and that there were people that were casting women to be on The Bachelor, and they were trying to figure out who The Bachelor was when this idea came up about Taylor Frankie Paul being The Bachelorette, and they jumped on it and they got it done super quickly. Every lead, every contestant is supposed to go through a psych evaluation. I'm not saying that she didn't go through one, but like, all you have to do is watch the seasons and you're like, is this really a good idea? So I just feel sad that she doesn't have more people that are seemingly on her side, or sad for her that she's not willing to take the advice of these people that have her best interest at heart, regardless of her status or her followers or the money she makes. So I just wish the best for her. We will see what else goes down. Who knows? I may have another emergency podcast come up, but I just wanted to, like, get out all the thoughts I'm thinking. And I'm probably forgetting something or another, but I just think it's wild. I was glued to my phone last night on my Reality of the Rose page, where like all of these posts were giving me all this information. And I just hope the best for her and hope the best for Dakota. And I just hope they can find a way away from each other, and that they can both just be there for their kids, and maybe they can find a life away from reality TV. So yeah, I thanks for listening, and let me know your thoughts, what you think. Are you still going to be watching? I'd love to hear it. So until next time, be calm, be strong, be kind, and be grateful. Thanks, guys. Bye.